Welcome back. In this video lesson, we are going to look at writing an equation from a table. Before we begin, you may want to pause to get pencil and paper in order to copy notes. In this example, we are given a table with values for x and y and asked to write an equation. When you write an equation, you want to write in slope-intercept form, where y is equal to mx plus b. M is your slope or growth, and B is your y-intercept. Now, slope of a line, remember we have a table, which means each of these numbers are ordered pairs and can be plotted on a graph to create a line. The growth is showing the growth of the table. Slope can be expressed, M is equal to the change in your y values divided by the change in your x values. So if we just start there, looking at your table, how do your y values change? If you notice, you go from 23 to 13 to 3, so on and so forth, each time going down by 10. That would mean that your change in y is a negative 10. Now if you look at your x values, you start with a negative 4, go to negative 2, 0, so on and so forth to the end each time you are adding 2. So your change in x is a positive 2. Now, this ratio can be divided to show that your slope is equal to negative 10 divided by positive 2. That gives you a negative 5. So we have found the slope of the line. In this case, we have found the growth of the table. The table is growing by negative 5. So when we get our equation set up, we have y is equal to negative 5x. Now, in order to determine the y-intercept, there are a couple ways we can go about it. One way we can go about finding the y-intercept is to pick any ordered pair in the table. Let's just say that we chose negative 2 and 13. Well, we know that negative 2 is x and 13 is y, so we can take the equation that we started to write and substitute those values in. We said that 13 was y, so we have 13 is equal to negative 5 times negative 2. And if we simplify that, we have positive 13 on this side and a positive 10 on the right side. Well, 13 does not equal 10. So you need to think to yourself, if you have 10, what do you need to do mathematically to get to 13? You need to add 3. So you can then take that plus 3 and incorporate it into the equation that you started writing. So the equation for this table is y is equal to negative 5x plus 3. Another way, if you look at the table, y-intercept is the point when x is 0. Therefore, if you have x is equal to 0 in your table, whatever the y value is what you are adding or subtracting. So if you notice, you are given the ordered pair 0, 3, and in the equation that we wrote, you are adding 3. If you take a moment to look at the table that we are given in the second example, we do not have a pattern to our x and our y values. However, we are still able to find the slope. Remember that slope is a ratio of the change in y to the change in x. So here what we need to do is choose two ordered pairs in the table. I'm going to look at the first two. We have 3, negative 13 and 9, negative 43. Well, our change in y, if you notice, is decreasing by 30. Therefore, we have a negative 30. In our x's, we go from 3 to 9. We are increasing by 6. So our ratio would be negative 30 to positive 6. And that can get simplified to a negative 5. If you were only given 2 ordered pairs, you would have to go with that and just make sure that it works. However, we do have other ordered pairs, so we're going to check to make sure that -5 is the slope. If we look at the next 2 ordered pairs, our change from -8 to +7, it's going up by 15, so it's an increase of 15. Our x's go from 2 to -1. That is a decrease of 3, so we have -3. Again, our ratio of the change in y to the change in x is equal to a +15, -3. This ratio can get simplified. 15 divided by -3 is also -5. So we can begin writing our equation in slope-intercept form. Y is equal to -5x. Now, if you recall, we said that B is the y-intercept. That is the point when x is 0. Whatever the y value is, that is what we add or subtract. However, when we look at the x values given to us in the table, we do not have a value of 0. Therefore, we need to take the equation that we started writing, pick an ordered pair. In this case, I'm going to pick the next ordered pair in line. I'm going to choose 7 and -33. We know that 7 is our x value and y is -33. So substitute that into your equation. -33 is equal to -5 times 7. -33 is equal to a -35. Well, we know that that's not a true statement. So mathematically, you need to think to yourself, if you're at a -35, what do you need to add or subtract to get to -33? Well, you want to add a +2. That +2 is your y-intercept. You want to plug that back into your equation. You now know that the equation for this table reads y is equal to -5x plus 2. And if you go through and you check it, for every ordered pair, it will work in the table. -5 times 2 is -10. -10 plus 2 gives you a -8. So we know that that ordered pair works. -5 times -1 is +5, and +5 plus 2 is 7. It works for that one. We checked it with this one when we did this work here. Let's try the last ordered pair. -5 times -12 is a +60. 60 plus 2 gives us 62. Now go back to the first two. -5 times 3 is -15. -15 plus 2 gives us a -13. And the last ordered pair, -5 times 9 is -45. And -45 plus 2 gives us a -43. So we know that this is the equation for that table. Thank you for watching, and I hope you've learned something.